Good morning, grade 8s. Today is Thursday, May the 7th, and today is the day that I am spending doing a ton of marking. So I am going to be going through and marking all of your math journals today. Okay, so any of you who have not yet gotten those math journals to me, you need to get those to me now, and you need to make sure that I can read all the parts of this math journal so that I can give you the grade that you have earned. Okay, now today our lesson is going to be on the lesson title is called 100% of a number. And it is using the same type of algebra that we did in yesterday's lesson. The answers from that, by the way, are all posted online, so make sure that you check to make sure that you're doing it properly. Today's lesson, it's very, very similar. What the textbook wants you to do is it wants you to be able to find 1% of a number, and then once you find what that 1% is, then you can multiply it by 100 and find what 100% of the number is. So I'm going to show you the way that I taught you yesterday, and then I'm going to show you what the textbook is demonstrating, and then we'll just assign the questions. Okay? All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to use the question from the textbook to do this work. So if you open up to that textbook page, which is titled 100% of a number, you're going to see the question. It's example 1. On that first page. I'll read it aloud here. It says, the shooting time for a typical made-for-TV movie is about 40 days. This time counts for just 20% of the total time needed to make the movie. The rest of the time is used for scripting, pre-production, and post-production. What is the total number of days needed to make the movie? So I've written this out here. So 20% of the time is 40 days. It wants to know how many total days there are. Okay, now I don't really love the way that the textbook explains the solution to this. I've been reading through it and I'm not a huge fan. Let me show you how I would do it my way, okay? So 20%, we got to turn that into a decimal, okay? Because a percent is really a piece of a whole. And when we're dealing with percents, it becomes quite confusing. When we're doing multiplication and things, we want to be thinking of that number as a decimal, okay? And then at the end, if we want to turn it into a percentage, we can. So 20%, that's really a decimal. So I'm going to turn this number into 0.2 because that's the same decimal form. So of is multiplication. The time, this is what we're trying to find, right? How much production time is it actually going to take to make the movie? We'll call it Y because I like the letter Y. Is going to be my equal sign, and then I've got 40 days. So now, to do this math, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, this is going to be 0.2 times y equals 40, and I'm going to go both sides of this divided by 0.2. So when I do that, I get y alone, and when I take the calculator, and I'm just going to take a second here to type this in. Okay. So when I take the calculator here and I go 40, divide key, 0.2, and I hit the equal sign, I get 200. So it's 200 days of production to make a film. Only 40 days of that is the shooting of the video, and the rest is the other 80% of the time that they need to do to make the movie. So this gets you the right answer. So the problem is that in today's work, what they're often asking you for is to find 1% of a number. And if I take that same question here and I don't turn my 20% into a decimal, I keep it at 20 instead of decimal 2. Let's try this question again. So now it's going to be 20%, I'm just leaving it as a percentage here, of the time. Oh, I'm going to slide this up. Okay, so this is now equaling 40. Well, okay, here we go. So 20 times y equals 40. I divide both sides by 20. Well, y here is equal to 2, which 2 days, you're like, 2 days, what is that? Why do I have 2 days as my answer here? Because that's really what this is, right? So it's 200 total days. When I do it without switching to decimal form, I only get 2 days. Well, this 2 days is equal to 1% of the total time. So in a question from the textbook, when it says find 1% of the number, what you're going to do here is you're going to be just multiplying by that percentage without shifting it into a decimal. And that answer that you're going to get is going to be that 1%. If you shift it to a decimal, you're going to find that total 100% of that number. So let's do a couple of the questions from the textbook here, just to kind of make sure we're on the right track here. So question number 1, I'm just going to do it directly. It says here 5% of a number is 20, and it's saying 1% of a number is, and we have this blank here. So to do this work, I'm just going to leave my 5% as a percentage because I am looking to get 1% as my answer. So it's going to be 5. Of is multiply. A number is going to be my letter. I'm going to call it y. Is 20. So this is going to be 5y equals 20 divided by both sides by 5. And then y is going to equal, and again, I'll get my calculator out here. Don't really need it, but we'll do it anyways, just to be consistent. 20, hit my divide key, hit the 5, hit the equal sign, and the answer is 4. So 1% of the number is 4. Okay? And this is the math that you're going to do to find that 1%. If you're trying to find 100% of the number, you got to shift that 5% into a decimal before you do the work. That's the only difference. Okay? Or you just shift your decimal by 2, and that'll get you from 1% to 100%. Okay? All right, so that is the lesson for today. I hope that makes sense. If you're really quite confused, you could try reading through the solutions that they give you there on that first page. It's all photocopied for you. But really, I believe my method is going to be the most straightforward. I think it ties in nicely with what we were doing yesterday. And hopefully it all makes sense to you guys. Okay? Again, any questions, send me a Google Doc and I will do my best to clarify for you. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great day.